Welcome back, guys. Still on today's topic, new media, new career. Still with me on set is Bami Kuteyi and Amirah Akpan talking about the hottest topics of new media, new careers. Right, Bami, just before we went on break, we were talking about sort of going into a little bit of how you've transitioned from having an ace 9-to-5 job to doing what I'd say is your full potential, living your full potential. Just talk us through a little bit on how the transition went and what made you take that step.
So I always envisioned for myself that I wanted to do something like physical, like ever since I was younger, I always wanted to be an actress. So for me, sitting at my desk every day, I just felt it very like soul draining. I have a lot of energy, I have a huge personality. So for me, I feel like I wasn't living up to my best potential working at Google. Although I was doing very well, I felt like there was so much more I had to do. So when I started Bam Bam Boogie and it got really popular inside and outside of work, I realized like, no, this is my calling. Like every day, every second I was thinking about this dream and I'm like, I just have to let this go for now and go and live it. Google will always be there.
Great. So let's talk about the challenges that you face doing this, because it's not a normal career, I would say, being a dancer and being a girl from a black descendant, so African culture, especially as an African. How did your parents cope or kind of handle the situation?
Thankfully, they've been really, really supportive as of now. But at first, it was quite a big shock. It's like, oh, are you sure you want to do this? Like, do you understand how hard it is to run your own business? And you're so young. Like, please just build up your brand more at Google, stay for longer. So they really wanted me to stay for like maybe another 3-4 years before I could actually leave. But I just prayed about it a lot and I told them, listen, this is on my heart. I just have to leave. So now they see what I'm doing and they actually are more supportive because they can see the successful direction that it's going in.
But then that's probably because you put in so much into it. You're very passionate about what you're doing and you kind of go all out for it. So you'd say initially you didn't get the full support of your family members, but slowly as they see that you're getting serious, they kind of buy into your idea. How about you, Amirah? Do you think you're getting the full support of your parents with the pageant, or is it a case where they're like, well, you're going to uni, but uni first and then pageant later? What are...
My mom really is like really supportive with my pageant. She supports me a lot for what I'm doing. She even helps me to get events most of the time. She pushes me. And she's also supportive of my foundation because she knows I'm not doing it for a good cause. If I was just sitting at home and not doing it and just this crown was just in my wardrobe, she would not be supportive. But because I'm actually want to be active and everything, and she sees like a bright future for me, she's like, okay, I'll leave you to do it. You're in the hands of God.
Good.
Go.
Yeah.
So both of you are saying that you are getting the support of your, because I sort of feel like parents are still leaving they still want to live through their children, and I say that because it still happens, as a good example, going to uni to study law as opposed to media or something, a media course or something that's at least not too far from it. It's again just showing that parents still want to kind of lead and be part of what the children do. So let's talk about that, because I know you guys are a little bit paranoid. You don't want your parents watching and thinking, you just didn't throw me right under the bus, did you? But look at it as this episode, there's someone out there, there's another parent watching this and thinking, well, actually, I want my child to be a doctor and the child wants to be a singer. I want us to use this as a way to educate people out there to say, well, actually, if your child wants to do it, let them go ahead and do it. So before we go into that, Bami, I believe one of the reasons your parents weren't comfortable with you leaving Google, at the end of the month, you get salary. That was guaranteed. And then to think that you will start dancing, you probably wouldn't have income for an X amount. How did you manage in that period? And how did they support you in that period, if they did at all?
So in terms of like financially?
Yes.
So the transition. So I knew for at least 6 months that I was going to leave my job even before I told them. So I saved a lot of money. I made a lot of sacrifices in order to cushion myself I forecasted at least 12 months of what I would need to move to England, sustain myself for that. So I supported myself and my business financially up until now, but it is also making money at the same time. But everything goes back into the business.
Okay, that's good. That's a good plan. At least you kind of thought about it before you did it. With you, Amirah, obviously being a beauty pageant, I don't know what the world is, but clearly my understanding is that parents, especially African parents, don't necessarily feel comfortable doing that because there is this myth of when you're model, when you're a beauty pageant, you then get exposed to certain things. How have you been able to sort of manage that? I mean, do you have those conversations with your parents? Do your parents have this conversation with you in terms of home education, what should be done and what shouldn't be done, just to kind of counter the fears around that?
My mom's really like prayerful, so she believes that any decision I make is on me. If I want to go out and take drugs or do something that I shouldn't be
which
doing,
you wouldn't?
Yeah, which I would never do that. But if I wanted to go and do something like that, she would be like, that's your life kind of thing. So she wants me to learn from my life experiences, but she believes that I should be the one to make the right decisions for myself. I know there are some parents who they might not allow the daughter into doing pageants because of the swimwear around, body exposure, modeling, lingerie modeling, drug life, because some models, they have to take drugs for like becoming more skinny, anorexic and things like that. Some parents are against that completely, and some children, they might have the potential to do it, but some people might be dragged into it quickly. So I believe that it's a parent that might actually know their child better than who they are. But also, it's good to at least allow your child to have that experience. If they make that mistake, then it's on the child. They've learned from life. You shouldn't just keep pushing them like, no, don't do this, don't do that. But they have to make decisions at the end of the day. We're going to grow up and be adults ourselves and have our own family and our own children. So,
So let me ask you a question. If you were to wake up tomorrow and think, I don't want to go to uni in September to study law, how do you think your parents, your mother will take it?
Oh, yeah. That would be a conversation that we would be sitting like this right now on the couch. My mom would be sitting there and I'd be sitting here, and we would be in the house for like a good 5 hours.
Okay.
She would try and convince me, and she would probably be against it because she wants me to be educated. My mom, she's a postgraduate master's holder, and she has a degree as well.
Bami, have you kind of had similar experience way back, maybe at college, and your parents wanted you to study a particular course?
No, luckily, actually, I'm quite a stubborn person, stubborn and free, and I tell you how it is. Do you know what I mean? I understand you're my parents, but if I want to do something, then I just tell them what it is. Plus, I'm the second child.
Okay.
Yeah, my sister may have got it, but me, they're just like, honestly, let this child just go to school.
Yeah, I'm firstborn, so
okay. So you kind of have the pressure of you've got to lead as an example and kind of. So how did you find yourself in this beauty pageant world?
Basically, me and my little sister, we had an argument, and then she came to stay in my room because we do this thing where it's like when she does something, she comes and apologizes, and then we cuddle like in the bed. So we were in the bed,
so
and
sweet.
we were like scrolling through Instagram, and then the Miss Teen Africa advertisement came up on IG. So then I applied, and then I got an email, and it was like, oh, you have a Skype audition, we'd like to see you, and things like that. So the day before the Skype audition, my sister was like, do my hair for me. She's like, oh,
how old is your sister?
She's 14.
Oh, bless.
But so we were working together, and then she helped me write my speech and everything. So.
She helped you write your speech?
Yeah, okay. Like she would sit down, and then she'd hear, I'd read it to her, and she'd be like, no, get that. And then put this aside.
So you've got a manager right there.
Yeah. Yeah. So we did all that, and then I got, thanks be to God, I got through. Okay. And then I was a finalist. I represented Nigeria, and I had 3 months training. So I had to make my traditional outfit, which was for my talent round. And where my mom comes from is a Kwai Bomb, so they have like the full, I don't know if you've seen it, like the full puffs everywhere around the arms. So we had to like get like sewing wool. And then we'd cut it, we'd make the puffs everywhere, then we had to get Ankara, put it like into a skirt, top and everything. And it was so cool. And you know the expression, the cardboard on the expression, we cut it into like a necklace thing, and then we sewed the puffs.
So you were very creative with that.
So we sewed the puffs on it. It was funny because the minute the show finished, it broke.
Oh wow!
So I was so lucky.
So fast forward. So what does it mean for you right now? What are you doing with being a beauty pageant? What's the next steps for you?
I'm actually here to actually impact the younger generation, because there was an event that I went to, and it was the LSE event it was an African summit, and I've never seen so many African youth who are willing to actually do something for back home. There was loads. dressed like they were looking like you, all beautiful. They were looking like you, earrings, they just look gorgeous, and they were not even afraid to they weren't ashamed of who they were, and they just stood there and they're like, no, we want equality for back home,
which is great. And I think there's been a lot of that going on. Just one final thing that I'd like for you to kind of say to our viewers out there. There's probably a parent out there that is still struggling with, I want to kind of help my child to choose a career. If you were to say one thing, Amirah, to somebody that's watching, what would you be to encourage them to just let the child live the full potential?
What I would say is just let them do what they want to do. If they want to go into the media sector, let them do it, because you never know. You might be raising a billionaire, a millionaire, or even a trillionaire. They might be the first Black trillionaire, and you're going to be sitting at home enjoying all the money and wealth. So you should just encourage your child to be who they want to be, and you never know. God might just give you more blessings than you ever expected. So yeah.
Amazing. And I would say, let your child try different things. Don't just put them down one traditional path. If they like playing in front of the camera, let them have a YouTube channel. If they like doing makeup, let them start playing with bits of makeup at home, because like Amirah said, you never know where it might take them.
Yeah.
Brilliant. Thank you, ladies. Awesome. Thank you. Thank you so much for coming today.
It's
been great having you. Yes. Whilst education is very critical and important, reports have it that pushy parents are chasing lost dreams, trying to make their children succeed. Parents who push their children are living vicariously through them. The more parents see themselves in a child, the more they push them. Research is also one of the potential downsides of parenting approach, including children struggling to establish their own autonomy. Have you been affected by today's episode? Do you have a similar story to tell? Do you agree that parents should be involved in choosing their child's career, or allow them to make their choices, create their own hopes and dreams? I'd like to hear from you. Don't forget to follow us on social media pages at Joe Maxwell Show, or email us at info@joemaxwellshow.com. Have a wonderful week ahead, and see you same time next week. I am your host, Joe Maxwell.